Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. There are a bunch of little news items that are about, so I thought I'd stick them all into one video for you, starting off with a decal for the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Italy. Basically, the Italian Partisan Liberation Committee declared the beginning of an uprising against German troops occupying northern Italy and the remnants of Mussolini's fascist regime on the 25th of April 1945. 4 days later, the Germans agreed to capitulate, causing the unrecognized Italian Social Republic to cease to exist. The date of the beginning of the uprising was chosen as Italy's Liberation Day, and today is the 80th anniversary of it. You can get yourself a decal, the Italian Liberation Day 2025 decal. It's going to be available from the 25th of April until the 28th of April. And all you have to do is play 3 battles using Italian vehicles at rank 3 or higher. I have actually found that you don't have to play Italian vehicles, you can just play anything in the Italian tech trees. So the Hungarian vehicles should also count towards this, since they have done in the past. If they don't, I apologize, but they should. The next piece of news is the FFA P-16. This is, of course, the Swiss jet that was added a little bit ago, and unfortunately, it seems nobody bought, so they removed it from sale as a pack, but now it's back as a GE vehicle forever. It's going to be 9,090 GE. This is a prototype attack aircraft, which has a lot of interesting weapons, but also just doesn't really fit the meta that it kind of sits in. What we'll do is we'll do a review for this, but just remember, it is available all the time now, so you can wait until it's on sale for 50% off for GE, which I think might be worth going for. So the FFA P-16 is an interesting vehicle because it has access to some weird armaments and also some other oddities. First of all, it gets these Hispano HS-825 cannons. These are actually very good. You get 2 of them, you get a decent amount of ammo at 240 rounds, so you can actually do quite a lot of damage with them. Also, with these secondary weapons, you do get access to some good old missiles, the FLZ LWF 63s. These are very similar, if not the same, as kind of AIM-9Bs. And then also, you get a bunch of Sura rockets or SNEBs, and then also you get the other ones too. So the difference between them is basically the warhead type. This one has a heat warhead. This one is just HE, so the heat one actually pens way more, even though it's a little bit more confusing. You can see it can pen 350 millimeters of at least, penetration at 0 degrees. It also gets a bunch of bombs and gets a bunch of incendiaries, and also even 2,000 pounders. And during all of that, you also have the internal snebs, which you can bring along too with this vehicle, which is kind of funny. So this vehicle is very much designed for CAS. And the reason why I say that is even though it has a line up, or even though it has like a setup which is more air-to-air, the vehicle isn't fast enough at 9.0, it cannot defend itself well, and also at the same time there are just too many monsters in the 9397 area which either have very powerful missiles like the Harriers, such as the GR3, or it's just way faster than you, like the F104, or other vehicles like the F100 that can just run circles around you. So if you are looking for a CAS vehicle to run in your ground lineups, then this one isn't actually that bad. It doesn't have any countermeasures, but at the same time, not many vehicles do at this BR, apart from stuff like the Alpha Jet. But the Alpha Jet has other limitations that kind of exist. At 9.0 for the Germans, you have a little bit of a lineup, but the real powerhouse lineup in this area for ground is the 9.3 one, the TAM2IP, KPZ, M48, Baglette Panzer, Leopard 1A5, you can chuck the Gepard in there, and then also stuff like the JPZ KA2. But for 9.0, you've got the TAM, you got the A1A1, you also can bring along some other stuff like the Gepard that we talked about, the Class 3P if you have it, and so you have a pretty decent lineup that you can kind of at least bring along. Then also the good thing about at least this vehicle is it does fill that CAS role. If you're looking for a vehicle to kind of grind out air forces, it's not really going to be the one that's there. It just doesn't really fit the meta really well, and there's a lot of well, there's a lot of just better vehicles at grinding, stuff like the Tornado. It's really boring to play the Tornado, but at the same time, if you get it on sale, it'll grind through the whole tech tree without you even thinking. Same with something like the MiG-21 Laser M, which is just the MiG-21 BIS. Same idea, right? Whereas this one, it's a lower rank. Its rewards are worse, apart from, the SL. But I mean, at this point, if you're playing aircraft, you're probably going to make quite a lot of SL just playing the tech tree. And the only reason to really pick this one up is if you really like Swiss stuff. And then you already have the squadron vehicle, the Hunter F-58, which you can grind out for free if you enjoy Swiss stuff. So not entirely sure what's kind of going on with this one. Maybe it's worth it on a 50%, but there's just way too many other options that make more sense at pretty much the same BRs. I thought I'd also put in this video some of the updated BR changes. Now, these were basically updated like straight away after the planned BR changes came out. I was kind of waiting for them to actually, update them again so we could do it in a more full video and go through my thoughts for it, but it seems like that's not going to happen. So instead, we'll go through all of them. So all those changes that they were making where it was like moving stuff around in rank or swapping stuff around the place in terms of where they are in the tech trees. Well, all of those are being pushed to the next major update. Now, usually that major update, I'm pretty sure, is usually in June, if I remember correctly. So you won't have to wait too long for that. But it is something to at least note. The other thing is the T55 AMD will be grouped with the T62M after its BR change, so it'll still be not too hard to grind out. And a lot of people have been asking me my opinions of the T55s and them going up. Put it like this: everything got decompressed last year, meaning that a lot of like 9.0s and 8.7s went up in BR to 9.0 and 9.3. That's why you have like a lot of the premiums at 10.7. That's why you have the 12.0 top BR, which used to be 11.7, and why you have powerhouses at 9.3 and also 10.3 for the Soviets, which used to be at 10.0. Everything went up that was powerful around that BR bracket, apart from the T55s. The T55s stayed at their BR. So this is just correcting that. And now they are being decompressed along with everything else that was decompressed around them. So basically the T55s were allowed to just annihilate things for an extra 6 months, which was just a bit silly, wasn't it? The next thing is the PGZ09. This was surprising to see. This one was surprising to be missed in the first place. It was actually going to be in my kind of these are the BR changes I would like to see video because of the fact that the PGZ09 was buffed massively recently. They gave it the ahead rounds, which are the ones which don't have traces, and also at the same time they have like the proximity ability, so they're really powerful, meaning that anything that comes within about 3 kilometers is really, really good. They also got the ammo box, so you could just keep using it over and over again, and it already had like the powerful rounds, like I think the DM23 on top of that, and the good thermals and the good optics. So the fact it wasn't going up in BR would have been hilarious, but before I made that video, they did actually update it, so they are sticking it up in BR. Also, at the same time for aircraft, the Kurnas 2000 in ground realistic is going up to 11.7. Not really surprising with the armaments that that thing has. It's pretty powerful. And then also the EC665 Tiger Hack is going to 12.3 as well, since that was the helicopter that they forgot about when it comes to upping it in BR, even though it was another one which had the fire and forget missiles that was in the tech trees. So therefore, the helicopters that are going up in BR, you have the H-129D, the Tiger Hat Block 2, EC665 Tiger Hack, H-60 Israel, the EC665 Tiger UHT, and also the H-34. So all of those are going up, and I think most of them make sense, apart from maybe the H-34. Seems like a bit of a weird one. One of the things they're not waiting for the next update to do, though, is the XP50. That one is just getting its air spawn removed, which should have happened many years ago, and it's so ridiculous that it didn't, but I'm guessing finally the premium sales have decreased enough for them to actually get it all sorted. So quite nice to see that. And then also in naval, they have crossed off the Glorious going down to 5.7 in arcade, because it was already at 5.7 in arcade. So that's quite nice that they've realized their mistake. Kind of weird that was a thing. I thought maybe they got the vehicle wrong, but no, it just seems like somebody, a Gaijin, thought the Glorious was at 6.0. Maybe they got confused with Realistic. I don't know how that works, but never mind. At least it's fixed now. So the Glorious is not going down to 5.7 anymore. It is staying at 5.7, which is where it is now. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.